G'day guys, Gordon here with Guardians of Freedom, wanting to steal some of your time please, to talk about very another important topic. I say every topic's important, they all are. This is going to be a bit tricky and I'm doing this with no prompts, no cards, just off the top of my head. I want to talk about the sovereign movement. I want to talk about the common law movement, because they're kind of together in many ways, and I know in some ways not, and I know I'm going to get comments on that. Okay, this is going to be tricky to handle. I want you guys to know that I'm talking to you as brothers and sisters and friends, and more than that, as strategic partners in this battle against this New World Order worldwide rollout. Remember that, strategic partners. We're all allies. We may not realize it at this point, even when we disagree. So I'm putting that out there, guys, before I get into the topic. I come at this topic with respect and love and appreciation for the guys in that realm, for the work they've done, for the attitude, for the spirit, the fighting spirit, for that strong heart and mind, for the will to continue the fight. And I understand something to acknowledge is that a lot of the guys in this movement have been fighting this fight well before 2020. So I acknowledge all of those things, and the message I have is coming from a good place. So I hope you guys can hear me out with an open heart and mind on this. And I want to ask people to consider your objective in what we're doing, and what you're doing, and what we do at Guardians of Freedom. For me, and I think you guys will feel the same way, the objective is winning, right? The objective is defeating the New World Order, which is bringing a restrictive control system across the entire planet. So, keeping that in mind, sometimes you have to lose a battle, or two, or three, to win the war. You have to know when to push, when to retreat. I talked about the Vietnamese and how they won their war through using their brains, and they would sometimes be sitting right there and they would say yes sir, when the enemy for them walked through their villages, and they had their own, own ideas for later. Okay, I talked about using intelligence and cunning. Okay, and I'm going to be very careful in my words, and I would advise everybody out there to do the same. Okay, we're not in a game. This is serious stuff. People will be sent away, and people will be killed. That's the reality. So keeping in mind, the goal is to win, right? Not to prove ourselves how mighty we are, not to, blow up our egos and our pride. That's my goal anyway, and I hope that's your goal. So I felt this from the beginning of 2020, and I've kind of held back on this. Bottom line is, the ideas I actually value from the sovereign movement. You've got many various groups now, and they've changed their, wording and branding. No longer sovereign citizens, it's sovereign something another. Some may not even use it, but they're actually under that sovereign realm. Common law is very similar, and the two often interlink. The ideas, I believe, are part of the solution after we find the right mechanism to win. These ideas are a big part of creating the future world, the new world, our new world, a simplified law system, a the concepts of sovereignty are the concepts that we should be using in this new world. However, I do not personally believe it is the actual vehicle that will create the stopping of the New World Order and moving into that new world that we want. Power is power, okay? And that is the only thing that stops other power. So that is what we have to gain. Words are just words, papers are just papers. Anybody can write what they want, and I'm saying this respectfully. And in my personal opinion, it will not make any difference to the New World Order. And I give this prime example all the time. Okay, the African slaves that were grabbed from Africa and put in slave ships, they came from a land that had common law, they were sovereign, all of that stuff. Okay, tyranny doesn't care if you have labeled yourself outside of their system or not, because these people clearly weren't. They will just come and grab you by the neck, throw you in a ship, and send you to a life of living hell. That's the reality. And I'm not saying this to scare people, but I am concerned because where we're at now in this movement, 5 years in, this video is made on I think it's the 5th of September today, 2025. Nearly 6 years in. Okay, my belief was always that it's part of the solution. It can't affect the solution. It can't trigger that. But now I'm a little bit more concerned, and so I'm making this video because I'm concerned about the well-being of people in this sort of movement. I'm concerned about their well-being from a personal care perspective, but from a strategic perspective, I don't want to see us lose a large part of our people that are opposing the New World Order. So words and papers, they only have the power based on what backs those words and papers. That's what the power is. Now, I know people will say, well, we're gathering that. Okay, but in that gathering, I'm just cautioning everyone to be careful that you don't get yourselves compromised and chucked in jail, okay, because we're going to lose people. And pick your battles. Some battles not worth fighting unless they're going to have an effect that you want. I do not believe for 1 minute, and we're already seeing it happen, where people from these sovereign movements are unable to stop the fire ant spraying, for example. Okay, when this stuff came out initially, I believe there were officers of the law, whatever you want to call them. They're all just words to me. You can call them New World Order, corporates, slaves, whatever. It doesn't matter. The police were tricked, or they were confused initially when they were hit with this sort of common law, sovereign stuff. And I said it then. I said all they're going to do is go back to their base, talk to their higher ups. They bring it higher up. They create a new policy. They bring it down. And we are seeing that happen, where they're basically grabbing people and arresting them and charging them and putting them in jail. Okay, and these fights to me are the battles that you might choose not to fight because they're not going to win the war. Okay, you lose some battles to win the war. There's some beautiful people in this movement that I've met over the years. Okay, I don't align with it because I don't want to get myself compromised, and I don't see it as an actual solution. excuse me. I read up on the legislation that our government uses against us. Now, I know you guys are going to say, oh, but it's not real. Well, look, we need to be aware of the environment strategically. Yes, I understand when people are saying that they've broken the law, and that's what we need to be focusing on, to be honest, and that's what we're doing at Guardians of Freedom, is compiling evidence of the actual laws, their own laws that they've broken. So reality is reality, and it's not what we want to see. Like, yes, these principles have merit, but reality is reality. So what I'm cautioning you guys on is, don't get yourselves compromised. Where they're going with this is they are going to make the whole sovereign movement a domestic terrorism activity. And that means they can effectively stop people from gathering, label entire groups as domestic terrorists, which means membership becomes illegal. They can arrest you and charge you just for being a member. Okay, we're going to lose a lot of good people, and they're going to get compromised. We're getting to a point in this movement where I'm already sitting there with people going, I don't know if I can trust or talk to this person anymore, because they've said and done things I know of where I go, I think they're compromised. When I say compromised, most people will actually be given a deal and they get charges laid against them and asked to go out and get more information. That's how it works. So, and I know there's a couple of common law guys that are 100% in my belief are compromised already. Some of them at a really high level, okay, because they bought into this belief that the government, the New World Order people, will not touch them. It's not reality. They will touch you. They will get you compromised. Okay. This is my concern. As I said, I have a lot of love and respect and appreciation for you guys. So just start thinking smart. Do you want to get out there and beat your chest and lose the war? Or do you want to settle and be smart and go, all right, we've got to use strategy, we've got to use stealth, and we need to use stealth. We've got to get to the other end, because in my opinion, we're not stopping things anytime soon. So we need to get to the other end, and I can see a lot of opportunities already, and we need to jump on those opportunities and know which battles to fight. And we got to quit this. It's just not going to help. I'm telling you guys. And for me, I want you guys to think about the end goal, which is protecting our families and looking after them. And you're not going to be any good if you're gone. Now, I'm going to say this clearly. I am committed to this movement with my life. Okay? But I'm not going to give that to them for free. Okay? When I say my life, I'm prepared to give my life to what we do. And I'm not saying that in a violent way for the guys that might be listening. I'm just saying I will give my life to this. But I'm going to be smart about it. I'm going to pick which battles. Because my end goal, I can't see any value for me to be doing or saying something stupid that ends me in prison, because I'm of no use to my family, to the future of humanity, to this movement. Okay, there's a time to go and there's a time not to go, and we've got to be smart about that. So I'm also going to mention this. I know that people have a lot of pride in the red flag, and then there's a lot of arguments about they're not going to matter which flag. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, and this is creating division as well. Like, it really doesn't matter. Okay, I know people are going to come back and say, no, but you don't know the history of the flags. Look, at the end of the day, they're going to make them all domestic terrorist symbols, and you're not going to be able to use them anyway because you're going to be arrested. That's how it's going to go. So I'm giving you guys that heads up now. That red flag will be, if you go and read up the domestic terrorism legislation, a symbol can be associated with any organization they class in that domestic terrorism realm, and they will do that. Okay. So think, guys, think. The concept itself can't stop anything. Power stops things. Power. So my goal is that we get to that place where we actually have power. Then we can actually stop things. But I can guarantee you this, and I know a lot of people are going to hate me for making this video, but it has to be said. A piece of paper is not going to stop the New World Order. Okay? When they want to come and get your land, they'll come and get your land. And I will say this as well. I'm getting a little bit agitated, to say the least, that people are making money off this, selling people false hope. Okay, I can't do that. I won't do that. At our, and not only that, I am. My purpose having to disassociate myself with this, because if you look into the treason legislation, some of the concepts, and I actually believe some of these groups are sting operations that will get every member arrested. Okay, I've gone and read up on the treason legislation that was updated in 2017. Now, I know you guys are all going to go, oh, but that's all fake. It doesn't matter. That's what they're going to use against you. You need to be aware of what the opposition is using. And they've changed it all because they know what they're going to do in 2020. So you've got to work around it, right? That legislation states, so if you are planning to, you can't just create your own country, and you can't just say, I don't follow your laws. And I get where you guys are coming from, but there is no actual purposeful achievement in that, okay? Winning is winning, even if it means you have to back down sometimes. We got to gather till we have proper power, and we don't have that. We're still splintered. We've got many problems to get through. And there is no magic pill, and this is one of the conditionings, that everybody's looking for a magic pill. So you've got these snake oil salesmen out there selling snake oil. Okay? If you do this, they can't touch you. You will become a person, a natural person. Or what, I don't even know, a natural man. It will not stop them. Okay? They don't care about that. You've got to understand that. And people are selling and making money from this. So if you come to Guardians now and you post this stuff, it's getting deleted. You'll get a message. If you do it again and again, see you later. Because you're going to get our group compromised, because they can use the treason legislation to bring charges against people who are doing this, okay? It's pointless, absolutely pointless, but it will get you guys charged, okay? And you're not getting out of it. That's just the way it is. So pick your battles. But yeah, I let people post stuff like this, but I'm very careful. None of it is going to work in the long run. Okay, people get confused here and there, lower level clerks and police officers, but then it goes up, they form policy, they come back at you, and they will. Okay, and I guarantee there is no way in hell the New World Order goes, oh, okay, we're going through, we're getting all the land, but stop there. That one there is a sovereign, natural person's land. They're not going to do that. Okay, we've got to be realistic. Now, people might see this video and that's what, I'm becoming the man they love to hate. And go, this guy's negative. I'm not negative. And anybody that's met me in person knows I will never, ever cease what we do. And I will go all the way. But I'm a realist. What I'm positive about is us as humanity, including you guys as in your movement. We're all allies. We just don't know it yet. We're all in the same team. But I'm providing this because I feel it's my my duty, my responsibility to do that. Okay, I can't sit right unless I say what needs to be said, and this needs to be said. Okay, the guys that are making money off this, to me, are disgraceful, absolutely disgraceful. This whole, what's it called, convergence or whatever, from their system, out of their system. People are selling shit for like $200 or something. That's disgraceful, absolutely disgraceful, because it's untested as well, right? And you're providing people saying this is the solution. It's an untested solution. Okay, there are actual solutions. Okay, and another issue I take up with this sovereign movement is it's stopping us from actually doing an actual solution. Okay. Now I'll also mention this, that impersonation of a state, federal, or local law enforcement officer is jailable. It carries I think it's a 2-year imprisonment term. All right, so stop getting people compromised. We are seriously at the point in this movement where I just don't know who you can actually trust, who's not compromised now, because so many people have bought into this stuff. Okay, but like I was saying, this stuff that people are buying into is stopping us from doing something real that we can actually do. Okay, and I've mentioned this before. I've taken a hell of a lot of risk to put our original action plan A together, which was hands-on, required mass amounts of people to act in coordination and properly stop this. Lawful, 100% lawful, and then we still have now our people's vote of no confidence campaign. So, guys, as I said, I say this truly with love and respect. Ask yourself, do you want to win or do you want to have pride? Because that's what it comes down to. Okay, and I believe sometimes you're gonna have to suck it up, particularly when we're up against such a giant that we are up against. And the only way to beat that is that we need to become a giant ourselves, and that's through getting together. Okay, and if you think honestly that the New World Order would just stop because of these papers or because you've converged or whatever into a natural person, they don't care. Okay, they're killing natural people every day in overseas. The African example, the slaves are the best ones. Tyranny doesn't care about all that stuff. Guys, that's all I'm going to say about this for now. That red flag will become a symbol of domestic terrorism, and anybody showing it will be labelled as that and possibly charged under the domestic terrorism legislation. I'm saying that now in September 2025. I guarantee at some point soon that's how it's going to go. And again, I will say this: when people talk about Gestapo and tyranny, well, we need to act like it, okay? Because going around saying, oh, I will beat my chest, I'll show that red flag, oh, no matter what. Okay, that's not acting like it. To me, it shows a complete lack of understanding of what's really going on, of the situation, and how to play chess with these people. We got to play chess. And I don't want to lose good people. We are losing good people. Okay? I don't want to lose any more good people. We need all of our people for this fight, which is now going to be a long-term affair, in my opinion, because we've missed that window. We need all you guys. We need you guys to be here. Excuse me. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off. I'm going to get going, actually, and get to a couple of appointments today. So take care out there, guys. Appreciate your time. Stay well.